Governor Schreiber, thank you very much for making time for us. Do you recall the first time you met Jimmy Carter?
The first time I met Jimmy Carter was in Wisconsin, and he came by to visit and spent really a day in Wisconsin. And what was so impressive about him is his ability to have sort of a direct contact with people, sort of reaching their heart and reaching their soul, just with his smile and his expression of concern. That I remember. But then I also remember when we were taking a trip to the airport and we were traveling together, you just got his sense of passion, his commitment, his wanting to make sure that he could do everything possible for having the best world or the best country possible. And many times you meet with politicians and you don't get that feeling, but without question, you could sense it just by his being, just by his being.
When you looked at the political landscape at that time, I imagine you encounter him when he is the governor of Georgia and running for president?
Basically, when he actually was president, but he came to Wisconsin and upset Mo Udall, which was surprising to everybody, and they say Wisconsin really made his presidency election, had it not been for Wisconsin. As I do think about it now, his carrying his own suit bag, for example, and carrying his own luggage, and
as president,
and as a candidate for president, but then also as president. But he just had that ability to connect with people like I've not really seen in too many politicians.
What did you sort of measure in him in terms of his policy and what drove him as a politician?
I think what his integrity and his honesty and his wanting to be direct with the people, and that's what got him into trouble politically. He wanted to tell people how important it was to be environmentally aware, environmentally conscious. Well, you do that and the oil states get very upset with you, so that caused him a problem. And then, of course, some people say, oh, you're not going to tell me to turn down my heat. You're not going to tell me how fast to drive, and so forth.
How did you end up at the White House? Was it a state dinner with him?
The National Governors Association had a get-together, and it seemed for some reason or another, Jimmy Carter and my wife, Elaine, just really were able to have a good visit, a good conversation. And on top of that, Jimmy Carter asked Elaine to dance, and I'll tell you, it was quite something to see my wife with the President of the United States, and there was the Marine Corps band, and it was in the special dining room that they had. But there again, his ability to be present and to give you sort of a peace of mind because you felt everything was okay, because he wanted to make things as good as possible.
Yeah, you talk about that, or at least there's a photo in the book, in your paperback book, My Two Elaines, right? And I'm going to try to get to that photo. Oh, it almost opened up right there. So what do you remember about that photo? I can see the smile on your face already.
Well, first of all, it's I tell you, it's hard to look at it without having so many memories flash through my mind. The beauty of my wife Elaine and her ability to have me feel comfortable, and well, just the fact that she would have had that opportunity but deserving to be with the President of the United States because of the quality of person Elaine was.
But you are governor at that time when you're at the White House?
That's right, governor at that time. And at that time, of course, Pat Lucey went on to become ambassador to Mexico. And one thing that was of interest significantly was the fact that Jimmy Carter appointed Pat Lucey as ambassador to Mexico. And it got to the point where the boldness of Jimmy Carter in what he wanted to do for the environment, the fact that we were dealing with the Iran affair with the hostages, the fact that we had such heavy inflation, it caused Pat Lucy to look at Jimmy Carter and say he's not the person for the job. And at that point, then Pat went off on with a separate candidacy, and he ended up running as vice president with an Anderson. Because of Jimmy Carter having the frankness, the courage, the determination to make things right, because of that, the decisions that he made just ran cross-grained. And it was that decision-making process that he used that got him into so much political trouble, and ending up being so soundly defeated. But there's another chapter, and that's Jimmy Carter after the election. I don't think we ever had a president of this country who did so much with a passion to help things become better out of office. And whether or not it was the Habitat for Humanity, or whether it's peacemaking efforts, or it's working to take care of the homeless, or whether it was trying to bring more awareness of the challenge of people who have nothing to eat. I don't know of any president who was formerly in office who did as much as what he did. And it could very well be that his legacy lives more in after his office than when he was in office.
And what do you make of that? You know, you're a politician. You know, sometimes people measure you as your time in office, but you know, what about all that time before the office and after being in office?
Well, when you're in office, you are really controlled by events. So Jimmy Carter had inflation, energy crisis, and so forth. Events controlling him. He's out of office. Now he's free. He's not held captive by whatever's the different experiences and different policies of countries and feeling of what is right or wrong. He's free, and he can do as he wishes.
So what do you think his legacy is?
Bringing peace among nations, making our world more aware of hunger and homelessness, of passion, of wanting to do everything that he could in his power to make this nation, this world, a better place to live.
Well, I thank you for sharing those thoughts with us.